Listen, first of all, I want to say thank you for coming on to the show. My bad on the time.
Don't worry about it.
We're gonna make it up. Um, but I want to get right into it. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what state you in, and how long you've been into this breed.
Well, I'm Eli. I always got to say I'm one half of Culver with Boerboels because my wife plays a big role in this, and I couldn't do anything without her. So shout out to her. I know she's probably listening. And we've been involved with the Boerboel for about 5 years now. But I've been competitively weight pulling and involved in the sport of weight pulling since I was 18 years old.
So that's listen, the reason what caught my attention to you is that exact thing right there, weight pulling. But let's go back here because
Sure.
I need for our viewers to know about the Boerboel, the South African Boerboel, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us the origin of the breed and what it was specifically designed for? And by the way, people, I got my incense, so I'm feeling good, right? I got my incense. And listen, I got my boom boom. So I'm Shark Tank didn't want to give these guys no love, and all of a sudden they blown up like
Yeah.
So tell us about the Boerboel.
Yeah, the Boerboel, its breed is its origin is obviously from South Africa, and it's originated as a sentient guard dog on the farm. Is basically what its job is. It's supposed to be basically like a utility breed on the farm, like an all-around dog, basically to do whatever the farmer needs it to do. And historically, it's been used to guard the farm, from intruders, from wildlife. And that's basically has always been like the main purpose of the dog. But the term Boerboel literally means farm dog. And at the end of the day, its purpose was and still is supposed to be whatever the farmer needs it to do. And that's kind of the history in a nutshell of the breed. Obviously, there's some other things that you can do with the breed, but that's really the main history of the breed right there.
Well, I went to what is it called? A North American Boerboel Registry. I forgot the name of it.
NABA.
Yes,
with an R at the end of that, yeah.
And I saw a multitude of different colors. I saw one of my little favorite one. I know it sounds crazy. One of my favorite. First of all, my favorite is the tan. Just put it out there, right? But I saw some other exotic colors like the piebald. It had like spots on it. That's a pattern. And then I saw one that was like gray with lime green eyes. What is the breed standard that AKC recognizes?
Well, AKC isn't going to for color wise, AKC isn't going to recognize any of those colors. AKC is basically going to recognize that standard brown, tan color, that red, or like a dark brown. I call it kind of like a mahogany color. Variations of those colors. They don't recognize the black. They do recognize Irish markings, which is that the white that comes down the chest and the half paws and stuff like that. There has to be a minimum amount of that white on the body. And that's basically it when it comes to that. Brindles is also accepted, but they don't accept the black. They don't accept variations of the black. And what I mean by that is, like the blue gene on there that comes along with black. They don't accept chocolates or reds. And that's basically what they consider, standard color.
Now, when you say they don't accept, they will give AKC, registration rights. They just don't let those colors be in any kind of AKC confirmation or
for the most part, except they won't even give you paperwork if your dog has what they call the K gene. So if your dog has some form of black in his line, so if there's a lineage in there where 3 generations, 4 generations, 6 generations back, and they can show that there's a black dog in there, they will not accept it.
So are they making everybody who buy Boerboels, every pup, even the one that's born domestically, you have to get a DNA test from them?
Well, what they do is it goes to what they call the parent registration. So, like, let's say if you have a Boerboel that's SABS registered, it's not AKC registered, it's SABS registered, and you want to transfer it and you want to get AKC paperwork, you're gonna apply for the ABC, which is the American Boerboel Club. You're gonna apply for paperwork with them, and what they do is they then look up your dog's pedigree and they search the history of it, and they verify that there is no black dogs in that particular dog's pedigree. If they find a black dog in it, they're going to flag it and they're going to say you can't get AKC paperwork. If they don't find a black dog in there, then they'll give you ABC paperwork, and then you can take that ABC paperwork and you can use that to register through AKC. Now, there's been instances where, like, they've looked at like a 5 or 6 generation pedigree and they found one black dog in there, and you can petition, the organization for that. But I don't know of anybody that's gotten accepted yet, for even just having one black dog, 5 generations back or 6 generations. I could be wrong, but everyone I've talked to, they said it's been denied.
How much of does it matter how much percent of the white is on the chest? Because I know in the Dobie world, that's all I know is Dobies and Rotties. Yeah. But I consider myself an expert in the Dobie world.
Sure.
White spots on any size, any sign of a white spot on the chest is a recessive gene, and that is we know that is genetic, but it's not. It's accepted, but it is not accepted. You know what I'm saying? It's a defect.
Yeah. So for the Dobies, is that a DQ? Will you be DQ'd immediately for that?
You won't even be put in the show. Yeah, I mean, you can get AKC registrations. Yeah, you can get
AKC but you'll be DQ'd from the show ring.
Yeah, absolutely, 110%.
Yeah, so with the Boerboel, it's allowed. Again, it's not desirable, but it's allowed. Now, if you have too much white, you're going to be DQ'd. You're going to be DQ'd for that. But like a spot on the chest, it's not a big deal. No, it's not a big deal.
No, you said one of the colors or one of the patterns that are accepted is brindle, right? Is that called reverse brindle?
Well, they have different.
Because the reverse brindle is where it's tan as the base and black stripes.
And then the black stripes. Yeah, you can have that. You can have. I don't like the term for it, but they call it like ultra brindle. I don't know, where that even came, but they call it ultra, which is it's almost the black with just a few stripes of the brown coming through there. That's acceptable. You'll see that a lot. That's okay, but you're not going to have like a blue brindle. They're not going to allow that. They're not going to allow like a red brindle. When I mean red brindle, like the brindle and then like a liver colored nose. No way. They're not going to allow that either.
Right. Well, excuse me. Another question then, the K gene. Can Embark test for that?
Yeah, you can Embark test for that. Yeah.
And it says K gene.
Yeah, it literally says K gene. That's what they call. So if you get a SABS pedigree or even the NABOR pedigree, it'll come. They'll say right on the pedigree, right in the top corner, it'll say K. They'll give it that they'll give it that classification. So you as a buyer or a breeder, that dog at some point in that history has a black dog in it or multiple black dogs in it. So it could be 6 generations back. You can be 7 generations removed, and they're still going to classify it as a dog that has a KG.
You know what's weird? In the Dobie world, we have 2 variations of AKC numbers, right? If the dog has the recessive white or cream color gene or the blue or the Isabella color, the first 2 letters is going to be WZ.
Really?
Yeah. So you automatically know.
So So there you go. It's pretty much the same thing. Now there's a lot of controversy that goes on, within the community where they say it's pure, it's not pure. They say the original foundation dogs for the breed, when they went out and they went and they picked 70, I think it's like 72 or 75 dogs when they first came up, and they said, we're going to make a standard. They went around from farm to farm and they picked those 70 some odd dogs, and they say, this is what we think a Boerboel should be, what closely resembles. Now, from my understanding, it wasn't that they didn't see black dogs. They just didn't find any black dogs that they thought was generally what, the Boerboel should represent or look like. And those original 70 some odd dogs just weren't black. So from there moving forward, there was no blacks accepted because the original dogs that they picked from those several farms just weren't black, So now, the debate goes back and forth for whether or not somebody, introduced a different breed into it later on after the standard was already created to bring more black dogs. Now, the problem with that is, at least that I have with it, and again, this is my opinion on it, is that you don't know the history of those 70 some odd dogs. They just literally went from farm to farm and just said, hey, that's what we think. That's what we think. No, I don't like that one. No, I don't like this one. And they went from there. There's no documented evidence of anything behind those dogs. They had no pedigrees. They had no anything. You know what I mean? There was just dogs literally on the farm that they said, this is what we think closely resembles what we feel the Boerboel should look like and should represent. So you kind of have that side of the argument. You know what I mean? When it comes to that, well, what was behind those dogs? So, that kind of leaves it up to interpretation, really.
So my other question leads to believe then, this is a question that's off the beaten path. Give me your two favorite movies that you can watch over and over and over. Your two favorite movies.
Two favorite movies?
Two favorite movies, bro.
Oh man. Man, that original
Predator. That you can watch right now, like when you get off with me and you go take your shower, you can sit back and you're like, okay, I can watch this. I know how it's gonna end. So
I think I must have watched the original Predator like 100 times, man. that original get through the chopper. That one. That's for sure. That's up there.
There was two governors in that movie too.
Yeah.
Ventura.
Yep.
And then you got Schwarzenegger.
And Schwarzenegger, yeah. So
and what's the other one?
That's a toss-up, man. There's so many good stuff. And the problem is I'm a big anime dork, man. So like I can't not have like an anime movie on there. That's one of my top movies that I can watch over and over again. I'm a huge anime dork.
Like which one?
Like the that new Demon Slayer movie that came out, man, that thing is, again, if you're an anime dork like myself, that new Demon Slayer movie,
CGI, man, you know what I'm saying?
That new Demon Slayer movie, man, forget about it. They fucking killed it. They killed it. That's one of my favorite movies.
So one of my favorite movies, and I'm dating my age here, is the first Terminator. Okay, the very first one, and Blues Brothers. I know you ain't never watched that shit. Blues Brothers.
What do I know that? That sounds familiar.
And I know you've watched this one, Gladiator.
Oh yeah. I mean, who hasn't?
The first one, yes.
Yeah. Who hasn't?
I think that movie Gladiator has love, deceit, death, retribution, freedom. It has everything in it. It has most people's life, how it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point.
Another tie up there is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I don't know if you've seen that movie. That's
it sounds loaded.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. That's a pretty good movie. That one's up there. That one's really up there.
All right, let's get to it. So, I first discovered you, and I do a lot of searching. Right, I do a lot of searching. And one of the things that caught my eye among a lot of things is I'm going to show people this. You tell me. I've never seen this. I've seen this in pit bulls all the time, but I've never seen this in Boerboels. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about here. Let me go here. Let me move over here. So I'm tripping. I'm tripping real hard. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Now, He's getting it in. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I've never now. I saw the numbers on there. The number said 1,000.
16,000.
Well, hold, like my twin brother said, hold sec. Let me play that again. Is that 16,000 pounds or 16?
16,917 pounds.
So how many tons is that?
That giant cinder block is 3,000 pounds alone.
How the fuck you guys getting that up on top of that?
There's a video of them coming up. Shout out to Bully Max, because that facility is fucking top notch. They came out with a forklift, and they had to put that on with a forklift. Yeah, there's a video of them. You keep searching. There's actually a video of them posted of them coming up with the forklift.
A forklift. Okay.
Yeah, keep going. Go up or down. One of the two. Yeah, no, maybe down. That should be on there.
Well, I got you. I got it where it's all on.
Yeah.
Let me try this in post.
There you go. See that. It should be right up top.
No. But here's another one.
Yeah, buddy.
So is that a puppy?
That's a pit bull. That's a pit bull.
Look at that. Damn. Shout out to Bully Max.
Yeah, shout out to Bully Max for that facility.
I reached out to them too, man. I reached out to them. Yeah. I was like, I would love to interview you guys about their product, you know what I'm saying? Because I see their shit visible as hell. And I'm reading the ingredients. It's loaded with protein. So it's gonna add some size on a dog, but they gotta better work that shit out.
Yeah. We're in talks with Bully Max, and I'm sure I can facilitate some kind of talk with them for sure.
So my question is to you is what got you into weight pulling with these dogs?
Well, in order to answer that, you got to look at our history. So we've been doing, the sport, like I said, since, as a kid, basically. And when we got into the Boerboel, and we decided to start a program for it, right? We're looking at these guys and they need a job, and how do I, as a breeder, how do I show that we're, number one, doing something different, number two, actually putting time and effort into the breed. We're weeding through our dogs and showing workability. How do we do that with a breed that necessarily the only thing, it's a utility dog on the farm and nobody else is doing anything with them? Well, me and the wife were brainstorming and we're like, well, why don't we do what we do best with them? If these guys can hold up, physically, mentally, to the type of training that it takes, to compete in this sport, then it's a dog that's worth using in our program. Like we have other dogs that, we'll probably never take to a show, but they know the harness, they know how to work, they know their commands. I see workability in them. I see trainability. I see dogs that are eager to please, want to be there. Okay, you're a dog we can use. I may not necessarily have competed with the dog, but it's a dog now that I feel it's worthy to add into the program. And that was our main thing, because you see a lot of people saying that they have working Boerboels or a working dog, and they're just sitting around fucking doing nothing. And again, that's what they want to do. It's their dog. They got to feed it. They got to take care of it. That's on them. But for us, I needed something more. We needed to be able to show something tangible, and put the dogs through their paces. To be competitive in the sport, it takes a lot of hours. It takes a lot of training. And the dogs need to have the mental fortitude for that, So I figured that's something that can translate into our program, and is something tangible that we can show people that, these dogs are doing something different and we're doing something different, and they're not going to fucking fall apart, on you. So that's our main thing. These guys they're supposed to be a strong, versatile breed, the most agile of all mastiffs. And it's kind of a shame to just have them doing nothing. So that's our way of showing, workability in the breed, and that we can do something with them, and that our stock is something that can hold up to just being an all around fucking dog.
Yep. That's interesting because most breeders or Boerboel breeders are not doing what you're doing with your dog that I've seen. Now, saying it's not being done.
Yeah.
Is there a prize or a purse that you win if your dog pulls the most weight?
It depends on the organization. So like we have our dogs are also ADBA registered. ADBA is I reached out to ADBA. They're accepting the Boerboel now. So with that is now we can go for titles as well. And I like the ADBA because there's a lot of competition there. We're competing against some of the best trainers in the country, in my opinion, some of the best trainers in the world. And now we're competing for titles that actually go on the dog's paperwork. So now 3 generations from now, I can't lie about it. I can't say my dog got an ace title and won so many events. The title is there. You can look at the pedigree and go, yeah, that dog got his ace title. This dog got an ace title. And you get an ace title by, achieving 100 points, competing against, other competitors, and it goes on the dog's title. So that you earn titles. UKC, you can earn some titles as well. Now, sometimes clubs have different events where they do have most weight pulled or highest percentage. And, you're going to get notoriety from winning your trophies. And like the Bully Max gives out, from time to time, they give out cash prizes, so, that's always a nice thing to get a nice cash prize.
Tony 123, he says, he says 16,000 pounds. That dog is running trend.
He's a big dog. It's
he's
hard.
Running trend. People trend is anabolic, one of the anabolic steroids. It creates monsters out of humans. I'm telling you.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is give one of these guys steroids. Forget about it. The last thing you want is an ill-tempered fucking Boerboel.
How do you get your dogs prepared to do that kind of weight?
So usually for us to prepare for a show like that, I'm doing about a 10 to 8 week keep, and for those who don't know what a keep is, that's what we call that is the training program, right? So we'll look at a show, we'll see how far it is. And then usually I like to give myself 8 to 10 weeks, depending on the event and depending on the show. And then we're slowly going to start working the dog up to a certain type of weight that we're looking for. A lot of the times, sometimes people think that it's just about moving, it's just about the muscle, but it's really the mindset. It's really preparing the dog's mind to be able to do the type of work, stay there, keep trying, right? And teaching the dog that it's not going to fail. I'm there, I'm the handler, trust what I'm telling you to do. And I'm telling you, you can move this, and never letting the dog fail. But that takes a lot of conditioning. It takes a lot of mental conditioning the dog. And I always tell people, I think like the sport of weight pull is probably 75 to 80% mental. And then the rest is actually physical. You can have the strongest fucking dog in the world, but if it's not mentally prepared to go on a track and keep trying, keep physically trying, it doesn't matter how strong it is. It doesn't matter. It has to be trained to keep trying and keep trying. And you have to slowly build that confidence up to the point that you have a dog that every time it gets hooked up in his mind or her mind, it knows it feels that it's going to move whatever's behind it. I've been built up to a certain point, little by little, little by little, little by little. And now I'm at the point now that I feel I'm invincible. I feel that whenever I'm hooked up to something, it's going to come, it's going to move as long as I keep trying and I don't break form too much. And that's the big thing about the sport.
What's interesting is that when I put the harness on my boys, it's like a Superman cape. They get amped up like, oh, we're about to do some protection work. They can't even stand still. Yeah. And 2 of my boys, Cisco and Titus, they act the same way when I put them on that treadmill. And it's like Like, they can't, like, be still, goddamn it. Let me buckle you in first.
Yeah.
And they love that. And it's like people, Eli is not doing anything with these dogs that they're not loving to do.
Yeah. You
They
have
love
to,
it.
yeah, you can't, this is a big thing. Like, you can't force them to do this. Like, people that don't know, sometimes they're like, you forcing them. I can't force them.
Right.
If the dog doesn't want to do it, it's not going to do it. He's just going to stand there and go. The same thing when a dog has had enough. Once they reach their max, they're stopped. That's it. It's done. It's like you at the gym. You can't lift anymore. You can't lift anymore. The key to that is the mental conditioning. So they feel, that they think they're going to be able to continue to move that. But that takes time, practice, and dedication to do that. And you're 100% correct. When the harness goes on these guys, they know it's work time. It's the same thing. They know it's what do we call that, like in protection world, collar conditioning, right? When that big collar comes on, or that agitation
they know
comes on, they start looking around for the decoy, like, okay, where's it at? It's coming. Oh, it's time to work. It's the same scenario with weight pulling. When that harness goes on, the dogs go, oh, okay, I'm ready. Okay, let's go. I know this. We've been practicing and practicing and practicing. We've been putting the miles in and the miles, and walking with the harness and dragging away. The same thing when they see that track and they step on that carpet. Okay, it's go time. It's like the dog's son. I have a hard time holding him back. He looks like a draft horse. When we get to that clip, he's turning around and you see him tapping his feet. Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Yeah.
Because he knows it's time to go. And as soon as I let him go, he knows, hey, I'm coming because I've been taught that as long as I try, I'm going to win. And at the end of that, he gets all the love, all the treats, all the rewards that he's looking for, which again is something that we look for when breeding a dog. We're looking for a dog that enjoys being with you, that's looking for that attention-based, workability, if that's the correct term I'm looking for.
Right. I noticed that that you teach all your dogs that you keep, you teach them how to stack, right? Stacking. Are you in any confirmation shows? How often do you enter them if you do go to any?
I'm going to start doing that now. At the last Bully Max event, there was some handlers there. Shout out to Pressa Mania from Texas. They flew up, they hopped on a plane with their Pressa, and they came over to compete, and they had a bunch of Pressas show up at the show. So shout out to them. And they do a lot of showing, and I'll repeat exactly what they said to me. And they looked at me and they said, respectfully, if you don't put this dog in the show ring, you're fucking stupid. And I was like, well, I've been thinking about it. Like, no, you need to put this dog in the ring. And I attribute some of that is because form follows function, right? If you have a dog that's conformationally correct, that has the angles at the right positioning, it allows you to move weight the correct way. You got a dog that's super high in the rear, super straight stifled. It doesn't get the same amount of leverage as a dog that's more conformationally correct, that has good angulation of the croup, that has good angulation of the stifles. I can go up against a dog that has the same amount of training as one of our dogs, but if my dog has better conformation, I'm pretty sure I'm going to
win. I'm writing, I always write a lot of notes while I'm talking. I don't have any questions. So people, listen, I tell my followers, my subscribers, my supporters, I said, if you're only going to gauge your kennel on Instagram and Facebook, that's rented space. You don't fucking own it. All it takes is 1 or 2 or 5 people to complain about your IG page or your Instagram page. And guess what? It's locked. It deactivated. They close it. Right?
Yep.
People, Eli, the book of Eli. He's doing something that I've been telling you guys to fucking do for a month. And guess what, guys? He got more than, he's doing something bigger than what I thought. So check this out. I'm going to show you guys a few things. He has, where is that at? He has a website.
Yeah.
Right? He's got a website, right? And it's very informative. You know, he's got all of the dogs' information on there, the males, the females, up and coming breedings, all this stuff. You can't get shut down from this. You can get shut down on Instagram, right? But people, guess what else he has that you didn't know? How about this one? This is gonna fuck most of you people head up. Y'all want to see what he got? Watch this. And I commend you on this. Guess what, people? He's got an Amazon page. Tell us, what the fuck are you selling?
Well, we got links on there to some of the products that we use, because we get asked all the time, hey, what are those? Why are you using them? Holy shit, you know, they work. Where can we get it at? You know, so those are balancing pods. We like to do a lot of body awareness, and shout out to my wife, because she's real big on that, and that's kind of her thing. Teaching the dogs how to balance. Like that particular exercise helps strengthen the pastures up. It helps fix the paws, helps the toes, and then also you know, it just makes you hit you know, muscles and areas that you normally don't get. So especially with puppies, we like to do that right there a lot with the puppies, to strengthen the feet. Without good feet, man, you don't have a good dog. You know,
so
I'm really big.
When you say strengthen the paws, do a lot of them come with web feet just by nature?
No, well, sometimes it can just happen because, you know, they grow fast. You know, you got these guys that they grow pretty fast. So if you have a particular dog that's has a little bit more mass, or even by pulling the weight away, like they're still, you know, their feet are still getting pretty splayed. Excuse me. You can do exercises like that can help bring the pads together and bring the toes together and keep everything nice and tight. And we have the before and after pictures and videos up of us doing that, and it really does help. And again, from a performance perspective, you know, your power starts at your feet. You got fucked up feet, you're going to lose power down the line. So, you know, we're big on that.
So let me ask you this then. And you can touch on it if you want to. I think, and I had to learn by doing a different breed. So I've been to not one, but 2 confirmation shows. One is with let me put this mic here. One is with the Connie Corsos. I went to a confirmation show that was AKC sponsored in Colorado. Shout out to Max Tran, who told me about it. And then I did one, the Presa Canerio show, and that was in Georgia. Shout out to Rich DeBerry at the Foundation Raw, also La Fundacion, and they invited me. And I love. Listen, there's more tension and more competitive spirits at those shows than that protection shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, these motherfuckers getting dialed in, women and guys hiding treats in their mouth, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is it? Right? And sometimes the weather is not as cool as you want it to be, so it's hot, and they running around with hush puppies on and tight dresses and tight jeans, or I mean, you know, full suits, and they don't give a shit. It's all about the dog that day, and it's almost like Raquel, she has this Connie Corso. She's based in Hawaii. We're going to be interviewing pretty soon. Diamond cut. What's that kind of presser? Diamond cut. What did I just say? The breeds. Diamond cut corticosos. Yeah. All right. So it was like every time a dog go out on the show and he's done, then the dog comes back to his side of the track or whatever, the field. You got one person on one paw, one person on the other paw, and the other person in the back, and they're putting this cool coat on that you put in the freezer the night before, and everybody's watching his teeth. And like, it's like 3-4 motherfuckers on one dog.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the next show and the next show. And I was like, man, if a person wants to breed South African Boerboel Mastiffs or Presa Caneros or Rottweilers or Dobermans or Connie Corsos, they should be going to conformation shows because they're trying to do what's the breed standard is. You get the breed standard down packed, then you can genophenotype your own way. You know, you can grow. But the root foundation should always be the breed standard. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that if somebody's trying to be a breeder for the first time or improve on their breed, they should go to a conformation show. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, a conformation show. The problem with the Boerboel is outside of the AKC and the UKC, there really isn't much going on with them. I mean, you can go to like a NABA or a SABS event and they have what's called an appraisal, which is basically like, in my opinion, like a toned down version of a dog show, right? It's a judge giving your dog a score based off of the standard, you're right. And outside of that, getting your appraisal score, there really isn't much more to see. You know, there isn't like, you know, again, the AKC will have like a specialty, right? You know, the UKC will have a specialty. And then outside of that, there really isn't a whole lot of stuff for the Boerboel, which is kind of the sad part about the whole entire thing. And that's why we decided to do something different, because there really isn't much for them like that. Now, you know, you can go to sporting events and some people are doing like fast cat and stuff like that with them.
Yeah.
There's some people, barn hunt and stuff. But it really isn't a whole lot of people doing much with them. You know, even going to shows. I've been to a bunch of AKC shows and I might see like 2 Boerboels there, you know. I'm sure other parts of the country, they might be more, and obviously there are more, but you don't see a whole lot showing up. You know, it's not like you go to the dog show, you know, an AKC show and there's fucking 75 golden retrievers. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's different with this breed. It's still kind of a niche breed still, you know. There really isn't that many. So it's kind of hard to really go out there and see a whole lot of other dogs. It just is what it is.
Hey, people, you guys have asked me, how do you find Eli? His Instagram handle is Cold River Boerboels. He's on Instagram. So check him out. Follow, like, subscribe. His website is Cold River Boerboels. That's who he pays GoDaddy to annually to keep the domain name. And what are those products called on Amazon? They're called what?
Those are they're called pods. They're balancing pods is what they are.
Okay. You can go on Amazon and buy those balancing pods. Yep. Just type in Cold River Boerboels shop or store. You should better find them. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. I'm reading my notes here.
Sure.
OFA examinations. How do you feel about those?
We do them. You know, our dogs, you know, hip, elbows. The most important thing is an echo, you know. So you have to get it done. From a breeding perspective, you need to know which way to go. With this breed, it's a little different because there isn't enough blood out there. You know, you're kind of still starting from scratch. So there's probably some things that you're going to accept differently where a more established breed, like, again, you know, a Doberman, right? There's so much more there, right, to compare to and go through, where, you know, this breed, you kind of probably have to accept some things that you probably normally wouldn't accept and breed from there. I feel health testing is a tool. It's a tool for the breeder to know which direction to go. It isn't necessarily always, you know, something of eliminating the dog from the program. Yeah. It's a tool. It says, okay, if I'm going to use this animal, then I'm going to go to something better. You know, now that's not to say like if you test a dog and the hips are just fucking completely shit, you know, the sockets are ruined, the balls are jagged. Okay, you can't use that. But if you have the less than desirable hips, but good elbows, the dog's got a good temperament, good workability, you're like, do I completely remove that from my program? Probably not. You know what I mean? You're going to have to adjust. But you have to have a good heart. You know, it has to clear the heart. The heart is just non-negotiable. You know, that's just something there's just no wiggle room with that. I think everything else you can kind of breed to and work around with if need be, but the heart is just something that has to, you know, you have to clear the heart, you know, for sure.
What do, and you're going to educate me on this one, because I know that most, if not every dog, every every breed has a genetic issue that is
Sure.
that either spontaneously mutates
Yeah.
or it skips a generation,
Yeah.
etc. What is the most common thing that you and the Boerboel community try to breed out or away from? What is the common thing, genetic issue?
I think the big one is the heart. I think you hear stories of dogs just fucking just dropping dead at 2 years old.
Is that DCM with you guys, dilated cardiomyopathy, or is it
No, they call it SA. They call it SA.
SA?
Yeah, the SA.
SA out here is for Mexicans to be saying SA.
So yeah, that the heart I think is the biggest issue. The breed has just about the same shit that every other large breed has. You know what I mean? But the heart issue is something that really needs to be looked at. And in my opinion, what I think the biggest concern with the breed is temperament. That's the biggest. You need a fucking stable dog. These things are too big not to be stable. That's a big thing. I need a dog that's stable. That's not looking at my kids all of a sudden that it wants to fucking eat them. Now it doesn't look at them like they're part of the pack anymore. It's looking at them like it's above them. And I've had a dog do that. I spent $8,000 on a dog that had to be taken out of the program.
To be put, you put them down or you
yeah,
displaced them?
The dog had to go to Jesus. There's no way.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't save every animal. You just can't. You can't. And people need to understand that. Just like people are fucked up in the head, sometimes you get animals that get fucked up in the head. And that's the problem sometimes where people get so infatuated, like importing dogs from Africa all the time. You're not always going to get the best stuff, and then you don't know 100% what's behind them. You don't know 100% what the temperament is. You get them, you invest 2 years into the dog, and then all of a sudden, and I have no problem going to people that I feel know more than I do when it comes to, temperament testing a dog, and seeing if it's really something that's wrong. And we did all that, and everybody came to the conclusion the dog's got to be taken out of the program and probably shouldn't even be fucking replaced, rehomed, for the safety and well-being of others. And I hear that a lot with the breed. I hear that with several other people, and a lot of them from dogs that were being imported. So I think that's a big thing as well. And people have to understand you're getting a guardian breed. You're getting a dog that naturally is going to be suspicious of strangers. You're going to get a dog that naturally needs to be taken out, socialized a little bit, but it's not always going to be friendly with people. It's not always going to be, it's not a golden fucking retriever. It's not going to look at everybody and hey, all the time. And sometimes people get into this breed and they don't realize that for whatever reason. I don't know what Instagram story they seen or whatever and they got this perception that it's always, rainbows and sunshines, and it's not. You have to remember you're getting a guardian breed, and when those dogs mature, sometimes, they look and they say, hey, this is my property. I don't like strangers coming here, and now you have to, make adjustments, and that's okay as long as it's not looking at the family that way. Sometimes I've talked to people that are getting into the breed and they want to breed and they're like, oh, I'm trying to breed teddy bears. I want these super nice. And it's like, and my conversation with them is it's going to take you generations. You're going to take generations of trying to get that out of a breed that historically has been bred to protect and be wary of strangers. Maybe you should probably get into something else. My dogs are stable. I can take them out in the public. You know what I mean? You see them on the videos and stuff interacting with people. I'm very cautious with everybody. I make sure everything is good. They can withstand the stress of being out there. But at the same time, I also don't want a dog that you can just come to my house and steal it either.
Right.
You see the stories. I mean, there was that one Doberman breeder that they robbed his house and stole his dogs. They killed the guy and stole his dogs. I'm like, yeah, who wants that? You know what I mean? So
right.
It's finding the balance between all of that. And I think you can if you're doing it properly. If you're doing it properly and you're temperament testing the dogs and you're not being fucking kennel blind and you're saying, yes, I have to remove this dog, or this dog has to get pet homed. It doesn't fit in here. I don't care how good it looks. The temperament isn't there. You can have the best looking fucking dog, but if it's a nutcase, man, how do you continue to breed that and put that in your program? And some people just don't understand that.
Hey, somebody asked, how long has the breed been in the United States?
Ah,
Or how long
it's
has it been since AKC has recognized them as
I
a
believe
breed?
I believe AKC was like 2000 and I think it was like 2015. So
Okay.
it's not that long ago.
Wow. So they've earned their stripes to get into the books over there, AKC, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I think the Presa Canario community is doing the steps now to be recognized as AKC registrable dogs. That's why they're having these required shows that are being judged by the judges from the Canary Islands, and they're doing all the right shit to legitimize the breed here in the United States. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I hear you on that breeding for character and temperament, because I had a dog that I had created, but he wasn't my dog in the beginning. But the guy said the dog was too much for him and he was working more. Um, he gave me the dog back a year and a half while he was a year and a half. His name was Bo.
Mm.
And we're talking about the type of dog that would probably go on any construction site and do what the fuck he was supposed to do. That means keep people out. With that being said, I tried to rehome him to my home, and I had him for over a year and a half. And no matter what, man, it's like at the end, something snapped. We were doing some training and I'm doing some corrections on him. Yeah, they're hard corrections, but you keep getting up when I say down. And he attacked me. Luckily, when
Mm.
I had a hoodie on, it prevented him to really go deep into my arm.
Yeah.
That's one issue. And we
Mm.
hung that motherfucker up for like 45 seconds after that to let him know that I can't. You got to put the boogeyman on these dogs sometime.
Yeah. I listen, I get it. I get it. What
Yeah,
I mean, you get a dog that's trying to fucking kill you,
right,
what are you gonna do?
right. And then another time is when we was about to put the harness on. Like he about to go to work. He attacks me, and I'm putting the harness on you.
Uh,
That's another. And then he's growling at my wife when she's about to feed him. I was like, you know what? Yeah, these guys here in LA and Compton and shit, like, I would have took him. I would have took him. No, you wouldn't. You would have sold him somebody else, and he would have ate somebody's child up. And then guess what? You're gonna fucking name me in this lawsuit because I have the deepest pockets among all you guys when it comes to this dog.
yeah, yeah,
Because it's almost like when a kid gets shot at school, the parents are suing every fucking body, and even
yep,
including the school district, because the school district has the deepest pockets.
yeah.
So I'm the school district when it comes to this dog.
Listen, I know stories of, I don't want to mention any names, any breeder names, but I know of some that they've been producing so much unstable fucking dogs. They get them back. They get them back because like right now they got a dog back that was going after the previous owner's children. They get the dog back.
Oh no.
It starts going after their children. They turn around, place the dog to somebody else, and then if you go on their website right now, they're breeding the dog to other stock, and they just keep fucking perpetuating it like that. Those same people had another dog that got back to them, because again, aggression like that with the owners, they turn around, they replace the dog. 2 weeks later, they get a phone call. The guy fucking the dog mangled the guy's hand so bad he needs fucking like reconstruction surgery on his fucking hands and shit. Now they're fucking scrambling because they're worried they're going to get sued. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing here? What's going on here? And how do you keep putting dogs out there like that? How do you not? And will you just keep replacing them and replacing them and replacing them? And then people hear stories, but hey, they got a big following on Instagram, so we're just going to keep doing that, and it's like, I can't do it. I personally can't do it. I don't care how much money I got invested, how much time I got invested. I couldn't sleep at night if I knew an animal shouldn't be put out in the public, and then I put it out in the public and it mangles their fucking kids. No, it's not worth it.
You know what's crazy is that, guys, Google this. Is called Blackfish. Blackfish is a documentary on that killer whale called Free Willy, whatever. Right? You remember that?
Yeah.
Hold on, you froze. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. So If you Google blackfish and watch it, it was the people at SeaWorld was breeding this whale to other females, and they didn't know that this whale had an edge, a real edge,
Yeah,
where
I remember that movie. Yeah.
he was taking trainers underwater,
Mm-hmm.
and he was killing other trainers. As a matter of fact, some guy who had a mental issue jumped the fence. I remember a homeless guy jumped the fence late at night, and he started fucking with that whale, and that whale bit his groins off. They could never
Oh
find the
shit.
whales. They could never find the guy's penis or testicles, and he spit the guy out and put him on top of the ground, but his balls were chewed off. Watch it. It's called Blackfish,
I remember that movie. I
right?
remember that. Yeah.
So it's almost the same thing. Like they breeding these dogs that has that loose screw.
Yeah.
That's genetic.
Yeah. It's people don't understand. Temperament is fucking genetic. I pound that in every. It's fucking genetic. And then, in order to remove that, you have to hold back in so many dogs. It's not, you're not going to pick, you got a dog that's unstable, that shouldn't be bred. You breed it. You go, oh, well, I'm going to breed it to this dog to try to soften it. But how do you know what's soft or what is it? Unless you keep the whole fucking litter. You got a litter of 9. And then you're going to have to wait till they hit maturity anyway. 2.5 with this breed, even 3 years old. Who's doing that? They're not doing that. Fuck it. They're just trying to turn them out as much as they fucking can because, it looks good, or it got a lot of likes on Instagram, or, I want to make AI generated videos of it because it's going to get me so many fucking likes, and they keep doing that, and they're just putting people at risk when they do stuff like that. It's not a good look at all.
Yeah. What's crazy is I went to the XL Bully show. Shout out to Rihanna and them at the Cinco de Mayo XL Bully. They invited me this year. And the XL Bully community is a breed of their own, right? They're really like, I rock with them. I like them.
Yeah.
And I asked at least 10 breeders out there. And there was a bunch of breeders. And some of these people came from like Wisconsin, fucking, I'm telling you, where it's 3 time zones, like they're in your time zone driving here with their dogs for the show.
Yes.
The number one question I asked them, and the number one answer they gave me was, I said, what is the most important thing you're breeding for when you're breeding this breed? And you know what the answer was? Temperament. Temperament. You got to respect that.
Yeah.
Because that dog, among many other dogs, would actually cause havoc if they were being bred to do otherwise.
Yeah.
And shout out to the XL Bully World fam for sticking to that and doing the right thing. I think the problem is, man, it's not a lot or enough responsible breeders who are dealing with these breeds that can literally like kill people. Like they're real. You would never see these on a police department, because what they bite, they cause everlasting damage.
Yeah.
Or death.
Yeah. Yeah. This, like, my particular breed is a big fucking breed. Sun Wukong, Mr. Wednesday, Sun Wukong stands at 29 inches at the shoulder. He, when I compete with him, he's about 160 pounds. When he's walking around just the farm, just being a regular dog, he's like 170, 175. His littermate brother, Mr. Wednesday, walks around at 180 pounds at 29.5 inches at the shoulder. They're big fucking dogs. I can't even imagine this thing turning around and looking at me like I'm a fucking threat. You know what I mean? I can't handle you. I can't stack you. I can't fuck with your feet. I can't trim your nails. That's all. I always tell people that's a good sign. You want to see somebody's, look at their feet.
Yeah.
Look, you could tell if someone's been handling their dog. Look at their feet. Their nails are fucking 4 inches fucking long. They can't handle their dog. They're scared to cut their own dog's fucking nails. Right away. These guys have to be handleable, and that's where I think the trainability thing comes into play. When you're selecting dogs that are easy to train and have good temperaments, because now you can just do anything you fucking need to do for them. They're looking at, okay, all right, But you get an overly dominant dog, fucking you messing with my feet. What do you mean you messing with my feet? What do you mean you cut my nails? No, I don't want to deal with that. I know I can train a dog, but I don't want to have to continually fight, dogs that don't want to be handled. I don't want to do that. So for my program, we don't use dogs like that.
So your primary color that you only breed for is the tan color, right? No other color.
Yeah. Well, right now, if AKC, would accept it, different colors, I probably, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I have like I'm conflicted with it, right? Because the working side of me says, well, who cares what fucking color it is? As long as the dog does its job, right, and performs well, what do you care if it's fucking purple? As long as it does its job. But then the purist in me says, well, wait a minute, that's not really to the breed standard. Let's stay with the breed standard, right? So I get that confliction to it. So, but since we've been leaning more towards the AKC, UKC side of things, then I have to stay within the standard.
Man, what do you want people to take away from our conversation about this breed? What do you like people to know about this breed in particular?
Well, it's a strong, powerful breed. And within the right hands, it's a great dog. It's a great dog. They have so much untapped potential, there. I see it in the breed. You can really versatile dog if the temperament is there, and that's really our main focus right now is the temperament, and showcasing it in an event where it's mainly dominated by breeds like the American Pit Bull Terrier, the Bulldog. You see a lot of those guys. That's what they're bred for. So to be able to go and compete against those guys and compete against some of the best trainers in the country, again, my opinion, the world at this point, it's just kind of showcasing, the workability of the breed. If you put the time into it and you take your time in selecting the right dogs. For us, I want a dog that if you just want to hang out, then we just hang out. But if you're looking for something a little bit more, you want to go compete and do something, the dog's like, okay, let's go. Yeah, I'm there. We can do multiple things. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be a working dog, and you're kind of looking for that workability. You can get that with this breed. You just got to put the time into it.
Hey, people, if you guys want to follow Eli, he's on Instagram. Are you on Facebook too?
Yeah, on Facebook.
He's on Instagram, Cold River Boerboels, and he's on Facebook. He has a Facebook dog page, same kennel name, Cold River Boerboel. He has a website. I'm a big fan of people having their own space. He has a website, and if you want to think about buying some of the items that he is selling on Amazon, go to Amazon. It's right. Put it in a shopping cart. He'll give you 10% discount if you type in the word Gerald, Gerald. I'm just joking. Listen, I want to say, I want to appreciate you. Stay on after we get off. I want to appreciate you for coming on, man. And we got to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. I like to, thank. I also want to thank like the ADBA for allowing us to bring the Boerboel into their organization. And some of the other trainers across the country, man, that have been open arms with us, pushing us every day to do something different with the breed, are excited about it. Shout out to Funny Man Kennels, Emmanuel and Jonathan Trejo over there. Always, on the phone with me every day. We're like, come on, we got to get it going. We got to, those days where you just want to sit back and I'm going to sleep. Like, no, you're not. Get back out in the field and go put the work in. We need you on tip top shape, get the dogs ready, show the world that you can do something different with a breed that nobody's been doing anything with. And shout out to my wife for always being there and pushing to make sure we get it all done.
All right. As always, people always say, be resilient, but be responsible. Until next time.